All right, we're going to talk about production practices from here on out. Are things changing? I was very surprised in some of our grower meetings this year that we do have a few things that are changing, and with that change, we're also thinking about how does this impact our inputs, and that's something we got to think about. This is one that I've asked a lot of people, what percent of your acres are in reduced tillage, and this is peanut. And what I'm talking about is, do you bottom plow or do you not? Disking is fine, I'm considering that reduced tillage. We're talking about the really, really deep tillage that seems to be what we're getting a little bit more and more away from. Do y'all do any deep turning? Y'all do? No? 2 of the 4? So, in Georgia, this is a topic of conversation because we've gone from 50 to 60% in the last 5 years down to, I think, what was it, Mark? 38%. Now, 38% of 938,000 acres is quite a few acres, which means a lot of those are dry land or non-irrigated. We are kind of, and I don't want to say it out loud, but we are kind of worried about some things that come along with reduced tillage in dry land acres, and so we'll discuss that. But again, it's from both extremes here, either 10% or 34%. Everything else is kind of in the middle. That's kind of an interesting breakout. All right, go ahead. All right, what percent of your acres are rented? That's changed a little bit too. We've gotten bigger over the last little bit, so that's quite a bit there. It's a good difference there. We got a lot that's on the one end and a lot on the other. All right. Now, this is something that's going to help us out economically, right? How much is irrigated rent right now on peanut? And I can tell you that it is highly variable based on where you're at too. All right. Look at that. We have got some pushing $300 an acre or better, and that's tough. That's tough when we've reached that level on something where we're spending a lot of money on. All right, the next one. All right, what about non-irrigated rent? This is one that surprised me over the winter. Surprised me quite a bit how much it has gone up. Problem is, we did a great job with the farm bill, right? We got prices up a little bit, but the problem is if inputs follow very quickly, then we've still not gotten a little bit more for the farmer to make a living on. So we got to watch that a little bit. All right, go ahead. That's good to see. That's wonderful. I've heard several non-irrigated rents be in the $125 to $150 acre range too, so getting kind of up there. All right. Are you concerned with row crop acres going to long-term energy groups? That's an interesting question. Yeah, solar. Different states are seeing this in different ways, but we've seen a lot of irrigated acres go. And it's just a question that has come out, whether or not we need to figure out a way to kind of mediate this a little bit. All right, go ahead. So yeah. All right, the next question is kind of the same thing, but this is home development. How many of you guys are around communities that that have taken up a tremendous amount of cropland right now? Tifton is one of those. Tifton's no different than any other place. All right, go ahead. So yeah, we got a concern. So begs the question: do we need to really start looking at conservation programs to limit that spread? Or to limit the consumption. All right. How do you make your crop input decisions? Guys, you can answer this, right? Is it based on a budget? Is it based on your history? Extension and consultants' inputs? What your neighbors do or what your dealers want you to do? Kind of give you a variety there, but what's the most important one there? Y'all got... Growers in general have so much coming at them nowadays, it's really hard. All right, go ahead. That's probably the best 3 answers I could give you right there. That's good. That's good. All right. How many of you are applying a blanket fertilizer on peanut, NP and K, higher than a normal maintenance? This is something else that I've learned in non-historical peanut areas are different. And why does that matter? I'll tell you that in a minute. All right, go ahead. So no, most people don't. And that's good. We don't put a lot of peanut fertilizer out at all. And that's one of the sustainability things that we have working for us in peanut, that we don't need it if you manage your other crops well. But we have people in certain parts of Georgia, certain parts of the other states, that we're putting out 200 to 300, 400 pounds of a blended fertilizer on peanut, whether I need it or not, just because I always have. And I'm planting cotton and corn, in rotation with it. I think that's quite a bit of money we're losing there. All right, what about nitrogen? Are you putting 30 to 40 units of nitrogen out just to get early season growth? We got a lot of people that have deep sands that think they need to put out nitrogen. Again, we got a lot of people that want them to lap up as quick as possible. This year with the rain and the heat, we've done that pretty quick in some areas, but not with nitrogen. And we don't recommend it a lot unless we're in a dire situation. So it's good to see that. Again, just trying to ask some questions across the board and see how everybody does. All right, go ahead. What do you think the most expensive part of production is? You might can answer this one or two times too. But what is the most expensive part of production that you think? A lot of this is important all the way through. It might not be expensive. The problem is some of it gets expensive for you not doing it. And that's the other thing, right? Mark's there and he says it all the time. I want to see scouting be up at the top. Well, it's not the most expensive, probably one of the cheapest things we do, but it's one of the most important. So it depends on how you look at it. All right, go ahead. There you go. I'd say those two are probably the most expensive, very much so. The planting and spraying, that's the and pest management part of this, and that is true. All right. This is good. How many pounds of seed are we planting? This is one of those things that kind of, a grower goes, well, I'm planting 220 pounds of seed, or I'm planting 180 pounds of seed. I was like, well, what's your seeding rate? If you talk to me, I talk about seed per foot. That's what I talk about, seed per foot. If it's a variety you like, it doesn't matter how many pounds. It's all about how many we're putting out. And so we're going to look at that just in a second. And there is quite a bit difference in the amount of seed. Go ahead. So we're anywhere from 120 to, 160 with a little bit more than that. All right, next. Now this is what's interesting, that if you just take it at 88 cents a pound, that may be on the cheap end, by the way. It depends on who you are. If you take that, what are we putting out for for pounds per acre? So at 120 pounds, if we're lucky, we don't have many varieties for that. It's pretty low. $105. But if you go over 200, it's $176. All right. Problem is this does not normally equate to a variety. If you got a variety, it's going to change, and that's the next thing. Hit one more. There we go. All right, now let's talk about seed count. 06G is around 650 seed, the one in the middle, all right? If you do 6 seed per foot, that's 134 pounds, that's $117. 8 seed, 157. 10 seed can get up right around $200, all right? Go to a 12Y, maybe a little bit bigger than 12Y. You can see that it drops a little bit, but if we go to a 600 seed count, which is more like a Tifton VHG, maybe, Barry, you might have a couple like this too that gets a little bit bigger, and they fluctuate from year to year. So if you don't know the seed count, you don't really know what you got in this until you don't, or you do. But you can get well above $200 for 10 seed per foot. Now, a lot of people, you go, well, people don't do that. Well, yeah, we got a lot of people that do. And we try to tell them they don't need 10 seed. They don't even need 8 seed most of the time. 6 seed is where we're at. Twin row, we bounce around 8 seed, but it's $20 no matter what variety you have. It's going to be about $20 for every seed you increase per foot of row. And that's kind of what we go off of. And you got to think about that. I mean, you go from 6 to 8, that's $40. That's a third of a fungicide program, and that's kind of the way I look at it. All right, go ahead. All right. Now, this is another one that priority, based on your first choice, is priority. What are the perceived factors influencing seed quality? I got two things I was going to ask, seed quality, and then there's one about gypsum, because that's the last things that we did right now. Everybody should be fresh in their mind. When you're looking at things that influence seed quality, planting date the previous year, the production of the previous year, limiting inputs, harvest that year, drying in the field, drying at the buying point, farmer seed storage, the shelling process, germination testing, storage and handling of shelled seed, or planting operation of the year that you're planting it. This is one I want the industry to be a part of too. If you don't mind, we need to know from all areas, what do you think some of the problems are? And there's a reason why I'm asking this, because when we plant seed, it don't come up. Guess what? One thing goes always to, well, it's the seed. But there's a lot more involved. Would y'all agree with that? It's a tremendous amount involved. If I'm a seed grower and I don't do what I need to, guess what? I just screwed somebody down the road for that seed, if it's blended or mixed in. All right, go ahead. Not too many people want to answer this. Look at that. It's highly variable. And from our perspective, trying to work on a seed quality issue is very complex, and we don't always have the people to work on it. So we're trying to devote more attention to this as we go forward. All right, next. What areas of seed quality research would help you? And again, it's kind of the same thing. But again, what in your mind, what's more important? What's some of the things that you think would help us in deciding on research ideas, or even how to go to our commissions and say, hey, we need some help funding this? All right. So there is quite a bit there. And I guarantee you, we have talked a good bit about several of these. We were joking on our podcast the other day, or on the way up here, or down here, that some of the stuff that we do every year, why do y'all do stuff all the time the same? It seems the same all the time. Well, the problem is it's not the same because of the environment and other little things that we get thrown into the mix. All right, what are the most of your acres being produced? When are the most of the acres being produced? This is important too. Do we plant all of our seed acres first? Do we plant them in the middle, or are we waiting until we get all the commercial seed planted? As a grower, as a buying point, you know this as well. We had 80 people answering questions. Now we're down to 30. Don't be afraid if you're part of the industry. We need some input here. All right, go ahead. Good deal. Right in the sweet spot. That's what we would call it. But we do have some planted later. And that has been a question. We're handling seed, which is highly important for the next year. Is there a point in time that we need to devote more effort to planting and making sure we're within that in that window? All right. Gypsum availability. This has been a very big topic this year, because a lot of people have been able to call and say, hey, we're having some issues. But have you as a grower, have you as a dealer, have you been able to get gypsum, or has availability been there? What about you guys? Y'all been able to still get gypsum fairly easy? A little bit more expensive maybe? That's the thing too, right? It is really expensive. I had some people quote that it was right around $100 a ton. And we got a lot of products that are coming out now that wanting people to put out. We need to really think about what are we getting calcium-wise, and that's something we're going to talk about. So, yes, we're still able to get it. There's a lot of people saying they cannot. Go to the next. All right. This is one, and this is seed peanuts. I'm talking about seed peanuts. So this is dealer, this is grower, whatever. Are you willing to get away from gypsum recommendations or requirements for seed peanuts? All right, well, what is the recommendation? If you're a commercial grower, we say if you got 500 to 750 pounds to the acre, you're probably all right. Some people like to still put it out. But if it's seed, even if you got 1,000 pounds per acre or more, we require it or recommend that you put it out. So as a sheller that's helping the grower, as a grower, are you willing to go away from that? And why do we do that? Why do we require it no matter what? Because it is so risky that if we get dry, because if it rains, it doesn't matter, or if it doesn't rain, it doesn't matter, we don't have the calcium. And so we've even seen irrigated peanuts that didn't have it cause a problem and have pop. So go ahead. We got 32% say, yeah, I'd get away from it. The problem is where is that risk going to fall out at? Now, part of things, I would say, if we did everything that we could do, yes, we could get some things that could fall into place and do some things. There are some products we can put 20, 30 gallons per acre out that, yes, can get us through a situation. But there's a lot of products 1 to 5 gallons, and I'm going to ask that in a minute, that no matter what, it's not going to do it. So, next question. Do you think the liquid calcium products, and I'm talking 1 to 5 gallons, is that going to be the product that you take that risk out on? You're going to be willing to put that out and say, hey, I'm good with that? And what are we spending for all of these products? Most of the 1 to 5 or even the 20 to 30 gallon of an acre products, we're spending $30, $35 an acre for the most part, for 1 to 2, 3 applications, whatever it might be. Do you realize if you get gypsum and put it out at 750 pounds, I'm still tripling the amount of calcium being put out, and it's costing me about the same. So that's something else to think about. So we need to start thinking about this gypsum thing based on how much calcium I'm getting per dollar. And what is it doing for me? That's something that we definitely got to think about. All right, go ahead. The biggest thing, though, that we could help ourselves on, commercially and seed to some degree, if we wanted to move down that road a little bit, is why do we not take pegging zone samples? We used to do a lot of this. Is it too time consuming, too expensive? No confidence in the recommendations, or I just haven't tried it? Do y'all take pegging zone samples, or have y'all taken them? I mean, this is one of the easiest things we can do to eliminate something that, especially commercially, on commercial peanuts, that might help us. So a lot of you haven't tried it. Now, it is time consuming. You do have to get somebody to do the samples right after you plant, but I'm telling you, it will at least give you a better idea of where you stand. Otherwise, we're just guessing. Sometimes we can use our regular soil samples, but that's a deeper profile. We want to make sure that it's in that top 3 to 4 inches, and that's what we got to do. So pegging zone samples can help us. And if we want to minimize the input, then that's one of the ways we can do it. All right? All right. How would you rate your yield so far? I tell you, people ask me this all the time. You know, Scott, what do you think our yield's going to be? Well, hell, I just do not know. And I'm not going to say. You know, most of the time, it's either average or above or average or below. I'm not going to throw a number out there because I don't know. We change so much in a short period of time. And if you've been around the last month, our peanut crop has changed from being very nice to starting to go backwards a little bit. You just don't know. All right? Average. And I would say that. We're looking, when you look at Georgia, now I can't say about, Chris, what you say about Alabama, but Georgia, we do. I mean, we got a good crop moving ahead. We just got to see where it falls out, and we just don't know that yet. We still got too far to go. All right, go ahead. Which disease issues concern you the most currently? I'm getting close to the end, I think, so I know y'all bear with me. Rhizot, Tony limb rot, white mold, leaf spot, tomato spotted wilt, or pod rot. It's crazy because people go, pod rot? Some people never have that problem. But we are having some rotational things with snap beans and some other places that is causing a problem. All right, white mold is on the top. And I would tell you in Georgia right now, white mold is really doing some numbers on some underground problems, dry land as well as some irrigated. We're not seeing the mycelium on the ground, but it's underground hitting the pods right now. So it's something to think about. Leaf spot has not got crunk up yet, but we are starting to see a few spots around. And that tomato spider wilt being as low as it is, that is a blessing this year to see that. And I'm pleased to see that. So a little bit of pod rot. All right, go ahead. Do you think you have a problem with cadre controlling yellow nut sedge? This is something that has come into question in a couple of counties, and just curious what you think. Cadre's been around since what, 96, 97? It's been around a while. Done a real good job, but just curious. All right, go ahead. So half and half. Now, if you think you have a problem with cadre, and if you're in the state of Georgia, we need to let Eric Prosco know. Just to kind of at least check off some boxes of what we got. We've got some peanuts that were peanut behind peanut for like 3 to 4 or 5 years, and we're seeing some resistance built up, but it is isolated. So if you are having that problem, let us know. All right, insect issues. At this point in time, what are you thinking you having or seeing in your field? Foliage feeders, rootworms, lessers, spider mites, burr bug. What have you seen in the field? I know the one that probably come up, right? Because you see holes in the leaves. That's the ones I got. So, all right, go ahead. All right, that's right. We had to have some lessers all over, so that's good. Or not so good, sorry. All right, go ahead. The last question. Now, this is for everybody, too. Have you heard of any issues with snails and peanuts causing a load in the last year to be rejected? I know we've heard snails, but we want to know the actual incidence of a load being rejected. Did I ask that, Mark, right? More or less. I'm not you, so hell, I get it wrong. Whatever. All right, go ahead. All right, 32% said yes. All right, it would be good for, if that's not Georgia, or if it is Georgia, or if it's Florida or Alabama, to know where those areas are at, just to kind of make sure that we're following it as it goes forward. So I've not heard any widespread issues, but again, we just want to make sure that we're tracking it as much as possible. All right, go ahead. Now, well, I lied to you. Do any of you guys listen to All About the Pod podcast? Some people say, well, I wished I wouldn't have, but it's been a very good thing for us to get information out. We've enjoyed it so far, but again, we're trying to get more people to listen to it because again, like I said earlier, nobody wants to read anymore. It's a lot easier to listen. It's also easier for us to get together once a week and kind of use this as our team meeting and get caught up as much as possible. So, all right, go ahead. All right. So that 59%, I expect you to listen now. Get on there and listen. We need everybody to be a part of it. The other thing is, if you got a county agent in all your counties, if you've got a question, you can send to us through the county agent and we can talk about it. The other part of this is I would encourage, if you're not doing anything Friday mornings at 7:30 to 8:30, call my cell phone. Most of you got it. Call my cell phone, I'll put you on the podcast. How about that? Love for you to be a part of it. We've had people that did that, and we have people just call me asking a question, and guess what? They get put on a podcast. So don't feel bashful. I will do it. I don't mind at all. But it is a way that we can talk and get out information very quickly. And we want to make sure that we do that. We've done a national one every year at the APRS meeting. That was last week. And so we try to get information from other people as well. But with that, I do appreciate it. Next slide. All right, so that's all. I'm thankful for y'all participating.